Hello. I have something pretty profound to share with you, and it is part of my experience with having a diagnosis or getting this diagnosis of cancer and thinking about disease and really looking at disease and what disease is. And I don't know if you've heard the video yet. I did a video on disease and what disease is. It's dis-ease, anything that takes you out of ease, right? So anything that takes you out of peace and harmony is disease, right? So you don't have to necessarily be diagnosed with something to put you in disease. So just something to be mindful of. Now, I wanted to share this experience with you where, and you might actually check out the video, the healing pool of Bethesda. And I don't know if I named it that, but that's a very significant part of my story and a message that I really feel like I'm supposed to share. Never thought that would be the case in a million years. However, this is what's happening. This is what God's plan is. Um, so when I was on the couch, I was uh, last November. We're in 2023. Last 2022 in November, I had was hospitalized for about 7 days. I was losing my blood. Like platelets were tanking, hemoglobin, everything was out wacky, and I couldn't breathe. I was on oxygen. They didn't know what was going on with me, and I ended up getting a diagnosis of cancer, metastatic breast cancer, stage 4. Basically, it's aggressive. The way they looked at me was like, "You're done. You're dead meat." Well, guess what? I'm not. I'm still here. Ha. Anyway, so I was on the couch and I, I just, I had that profound experience of like, you need to get up. Like you need to take up your mat and walk. Like this is not like, no, we're not doing this. Um, One of the other pieces of this is that the question was, do you want to live or die? Because really, it's like, do you want to, Jesus asked the man that was paralyzed for 38 years that was attempting to get to the pool, do you want to be healed? Or do you want to just keep doing the same thing over and over again? Or like you're not, like you're actually dead, really, you're dying, right? We're all really dying if we're honest. But like you're doing the same thing for 38 years expecting something different. So I just shook my camera or my desk. um, you're doing the same thing for 38 years as a definition of insanity, right? You're expecting something different, right? So I just had that question came back to me, do you want to live or die? Now, this question was posed to me when I was about 8. I know, what a crazy question to ask an 8-year-old. So I want to tie this together because I think that there is something very significant about this and the line from this trauma. Okay, so I think that there, like when I was looking at the breast cancer, I'm like, okay, I know with everything I've learned and worked on myself and with other people is that there's something underneath it. Okay, what's underneath this? This cancer is a symptom of something else. What is underneath it? What do I need to learn from this? What do I need to heal? What's going on underneath it? I need to heal. If you've never heard of Louise Hay, I highly encourage you to look her up because you can look up a symptom and there's an emotional tie to it somewhere. And I'm a firm believer of that. So that's what I looked at. And one of the things that came up was, do you want to live or die? And that was posed to me when I was 8, about 8. I might have been a little older. I don't, again, memory's a little hazy there, but I just remember sitting at the kitchen table and my mom was at the counter and she's cutting bread. She has a knife in her hand and she's cutting bread. And she has her back to me and I'm sitting at the kitchen table and I'm eating something. I don't remember what I'm eating. And she just says, do you want to live or die? Now, let me just tell you about my mom a little bit. She was very abusive. Obviously, a this is not a great question to ask a child. So you could probably tell that's an abusive thing to say. And so that was the type of thing I was living with. Okay. So I lived in fear all my life, almost all my childhood, right? I would say up until I was about 16. And then I left and then I came back and I left and lived with relatives and then I came back and I just was in and out of fear all my life. Most of my life, excuse me. Still overcoming a cold. Got someone's cooties. But the good news is my body's fighting it off. So this is great news. Anyway, back to this live or die. So anyway, I grew up with this living in fear of my life that she's going to kill me at some point. And so I didn't know how to answer that question. And isn't that interesting that you wouldn't know how to answer that? But I was 8, and I think for me it was, I don't want to answer it wrong. Like, do I tell her I want to live? Would that be the right answer? Like, do I tell her I want to die? Like, what, just kill me? Like, I don't know. So I didn't answer her right away, and which totally made her escalate. So the statement got louder, right? Do you want to live or die? Do you want to live or die? It just kept getting louder and louder and scarier, right? Scarier, because I immediately thought I'm going to die. Like, this is it. Like, I'm done. Doesn't matter how I answer, I'm going to die. And so I didn't answer her. And eventually she came at me with the knife and knocked me over and screamed, do you want to live or die? And so everything in me had to answer because I didn't want to die. So I said, I want to live. I want to live. I didn't say it that calmly. I said it more like, no, like petrified of dying. I don't want to die. And so how does this event correlate with the current circumstance, right? Well, I think I was faced with it again. It's, I'm on the couch and I'm not even on the couch. I'm laying on the couch. I'm under blankets. I have oxygen and people are waiting on me hand and foot and I'm being taken care of and I'm dying. Like, let's be real. I'm dying. And it was, that came back again. Like, do you want to live or die? Like, is this it? Is this it? I'm getting emotional thinking about it because it was such a profound experience for me. And it's been such a big part of my healing. And if you haven't dived down deeper into your stuff underneath whatever's going on for you in your body, whether it's, it could be anything. Like, I don't know what it is. It could be anything. It's not just cancer. It could be all kinds of things happen to people. To get their attention, right? Or not necessarily get your attention. Well, I guess it could be to get your attention. I know mine did. I'm wide awake. It's like, nope, I'm not ready to go anywhere. But I really had to answer this question, and I'm in a different phase of life, different state, and it's like, I just remember getting up and having that, and just getting up and going to the restroom and coming back out and slowly and just like, how I handle this right now makes a huge difference. How I handle it makes a huge difference to myself, and it makes a huge difference to other people. How I handle this diagnosis of cancer, how you handle anything like that makes a huge difference, believe it or not. And that was what really, really got into my heart. That part right there, it was like, how I handle this is going to make a huge difference. And I really do feel like it already has, not only in my life, but in other people's lives. And I really hope my message is resonating with you and that you get something out of this. Like, I'm not here to make millions of dollars. That might have been my trek in the past or my vision in the past or whatever. I'm really genuinely care and want to help other people. And this is really another way for me to express myself. So anyway, like back to back to that, what you do matters here. How you handle this matters. So I go back to the couch and I'm like, I want to get better. I want to heal. I want to live. I really feel like that day God gave me a message, and it was like, you're a messenger. It's time to spread the message that you can live, you can heal, you can live, you can be disease free. Looking at all the cause of disease, like trauma that hasn't been dealt with. Like I have layers of it. Like I'm gonna be honest with you, I have layers and layers of it. I became a helper because I have trauma. Like that's why we pick the professions we pick, right? Because there's something in us that needs to be reconciled back there, right? So whether we're conscious of that or not, that's what's happening, and we're reconciling something from the past in other relationships, whatever they are, whether they're friendships or intimate partnerships or counseling relationships or coaching relationships, whatever. I've had so many experiences where I'm like, oh my God, like this is like a mirror to me right now. I feel like I'm just looking right at myself. And you really are, actually, because we're all connected and there is no coincidence, at least not in my mind. So I don't know if this video helps you at all. It's a very, very raw and real for me in so many ways, because this has not been that long ago that this came up. So I guess the question is, do you want to live or die? And I know I want to live my life to the fullest, and I am living it way fully now, way fully now than compared to how I used to live. And not that how I used to live was bad. It wasn't bad. I just wasn't really living fully, right? So, I hope this helps you. And please, 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 please take good care of yourself today. Live you.